What is up, guys? This is Matthew Betts with the Red Shirts Fantasy Football Podcast. And for rookie season and for Dynasty rookie drafts, we're going to be doing a new segment here on the show, specifically for our YouTube channel, looking at one prospect each day. So myself, John, and Okada will all take turns kind of looking at these top probably 36 or so rookies and sort of doing a short 5 to 8 minute video about the college prospect, about how their game translates to the NFL, about their NFL combine testing data, injury history, all that sort of stuff, so that you guys can go ahead and succeed with your rookie draft. So that's what today's show is going to be all about. And we're starting with one of my favorite players in this class. It's running back out of Georgia, DeAndre Swift. And just, I would say probably about a month ago, 2 months ago, people were largely considering DeAndre Swift as the 1.01 in this rookie class and definitely the top running back ahead of Jonathan Taylor. And then the combine happened. And of course, Jonathan Taylor has skyrocketed up analyst rankings. Now, DeAndre Swift, let's start with his college profile and his production. Entered in 2017 into Georgia as a depth piece for that backfield. And man, he was surrounded by a ton of talent there at Georgia. Of course, we know the history of their, running backs coming into the NFL has been awesome in the past 3 to 5 years. He was on a roster with guys like Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel. And so for his freshman season, he didn't really do a ton. He was kind of more of a role player, as I said, compiled over 750 all-purpose scrimmage yards in his freshman season. So that was encouraging. Then in his sophomore year, really took off. We saw him put up his first 1,000-yard rushing season, rush for 10 touchdowns, really took over the lead for that backfield. And in doing so, really made a name for himself in Dynasty and in Devy formats. Now, last year, you might look at the comparison, and while he did have more rushing yards compared to his previous season, he did unfortunately have less rushing touchdowns. He only had 7 last year. And while that's not a huge drop off from 10, it is worth noting too, he also had a few less receptions for the offense. But in general, Georgia's offense struggled a bit last year and really wasn't the powerhouse that we have seen it been in the past. And it definitely was taking a step back as a whole. Now, compared to other offenses, Georgia ranked 50th in the FBS in scoring offense. And I think that's a big reason why we saw Swift's numbers drop off a little bit. But on tape, man, this kid profiles extremely well to the next level. We'll talk about that here next. What I see on tape with DeAndre Swift is just a special player, a special talent at the NFL level. I think this kid has come in and succeed right away and really be able to take over the lead of a backfield in the NFL draft and in the NFL offense. I mean, you look at what he does well, and it's everything today's running backs do well. Let's start with his pass catching ability, because that's really where I see Swift excel. And when you get this kid the ball in space, he is very good. And some could even say elite. I mean, electric in space with the ball in his hands. He doesn't quite have the long speed to break off an 80-yard touchdown run. But of course, those are so few in today's NFL. What he does have is elite quickness and burst when the ball's in his hand. When he gets it out of the backfield, when he attacks the line of scrimmage, he is so decisive. His vision is, I would say, probably the top 2 in this class at the running back position. When he sees the hole and he attacks it, he does it very well, and he's very decisive in doing so, allowing him to get to the second level pretty easily, in my opinion. And what that does is really get him mismatched with linebackers, with safeties. And when he's against those players, I mean, it's almost not even fair, to be honest with you, because of how quick he is, how elusive he is. His contact balance is very, very good. I think DeAndre Swift sets up very well to succeed at the NFL level. You watch his game tape, and of course, as I'm talking here, a few clips are rolling. The kid, when he sticks his foot in the ground and changes direction, is going to be tough for NFL defenders to bring down with just one defender. I saw that a bunch on tape with him. It usually took 2 guys or 1.5, maybe you'll say, to bring him down. And that really speaks to how elusive he can be. If he's in an offensive system that uses kind of a one-cut scheme, I think DeAndre Swift is going to be very, very good for our fantasy rosters. Now, let's talk about a couple of his weaknesses. And I already mentioned it. The long speed isn't really there for him. Now, he did run a 4.48 40-yard dash in Indy last week. So he does have speed. I'm not saying he's slow, but by standards of Jonathan Taylor at 4.39, it's a little bit slower. and it is going to necessarily affect him when, again, we're talking about those long runs. So I don't think it's really a huge issue for DeAndre Swift. Again, he's so quick, he's so shifty, his burst is elite. I don't think it's going to matter a ton at the next level. One area big time for him to improve is pass protection. And it's not that he's not willing to do it. He's very willing to do it, but he's not an elite pass blocker. And so that could maybe affect him a little bit on third downs if he's sharing time with another back, but he is willing to do it. He needs to clean up his hands in protection a little bit when he's using them to, pick up a blitzer, for example. But it's not going to knock him enough for Dynasty. It's not going to knock him enough for the NFL draft. I think he's still going to be an elite option. Now let's talk about him for fantasy football purposes, because that's what we care about, right? I mean, DeAndre Swift, he might be the first running back off the board. I've seen him mocked to the Miami Dolphins at the back end of the first round, early second to a couple other teams. He could very well be the Josh Jacobs of 2020 that we saw last year, who was a very, very good RB2, back end RB1, and really a dynasty asset for years to come. I think DeAndre Swift is an every down running back. He can catch the football. He's going to excel when he gets the ball in space. And for fantasy football and specifically PPR formats, that's what we love. I think DeAndre Swift is a lock as, a top 3 pick in your rookie drafts, top 4 maybe. But regardless, if you have one of those top rookie picks in your dynasty format, you're going to be very excited about that, because he is a very, very good prospect, one who profiles very well at the next level. And for redraft, I do think DeAndre Swift is a name we're going to know, and we're going to know very well, come July and come August when we talk about him with his NFL team. It's very likely that he takes over a backfield, that he is the lead back in the system. And so we'll have to see what his ADP climbs up to at that point. But like I said, Josh Jacobs type of season is definitely within the realm of possibility for DeAndre Swift. Like him a lot. All right, guys, that does it for the rookie profile here for DeAndre Swift out of Georgia. If you like what you're hearing, please hit the like button on this video, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're going to have so many more of these rookie profiles coming out. Like I said, John and Okada are working behind the scenes, putting together their rookie profile pieces, which will drop here soon. For more, check us out anywhere you get your podcasts, as well as online, redshirtsfantasyfootball.com.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Red Shirts Fantasy Football Podcast. Hit us up on Twitter at RedShirtsFFPod and check out our website, redshirtsfantasyfootball.com.